The value of Little Blueprint is to offer children, through stories that they can help create, a way of actually building the parts of their brains that allow them to plan, to think about what's going on now and get ready for the future. In science, we use the term executive functions for the important way that you can plan and think about what's going on. And in a relationship between a parent and a child, the opportunity to actually work together to co-create a planning process is exactly what our social brains need in order to develop these executive functions well. In many ways, executive functions can be thought of as an internal compass that allows a child to find their way through life. Little Blueprint offers a way of empowering children to develop the exact part of their brains that they need to become the captain of their own ship. The acronym LEAD, that is the central part of Blueprint, which stands for L, logic, E, emotion, A, analysis, and D, decision making, allows a parent to remember how to lead a child through the pathway of developing executive functions. It's the basis of emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and something I call mind sight, which is using your mind to actually see what the eye itself can't see, to understand the relationship between different options, and then choose the most appropriate one. The Little Blueprint approach builds on the importance of storytelling. And storytelling is a way of actually experiencing the lessons of logic, emotion, analysis, and decision-making by thinking about what you know from the past, considering where you are in the present, and then creating a kind of future that you can imagine and then make real. Storytelling is one of the characteristic features of us as human beings, what distinguishes us from other animals and what reveals, between a parent and a child, how a child can make sense of life. So studies show that when parents are involved in the co-creation of stories with children, of thinking back on what they experienced during the day, thinking about what's happening in the future, and creating together a story that explains what happened in the past, makes sense of it, and also anticipates and plans for the future, those children develop optimally. For parents who haven't learned those skills, those children don't get those capacities to tell stories in a deep way, and their executive functions like planning for the future, holding things in memory, anticipating what might happen next, and considering various options, these skills of executive function are not developed as well in families that don't tell stories. So storytelling in a family is the primary way in which we as parents impart to our children important executive functions that will guide them the rest of their lives. One thing we know about the brain is that when you exercise it in specific ways, you actually develop its circuitry in specific ways. And we can use the word training for that process of exercising mental processes like, for example, planning for the future, reflecting on the past, trying to be aware of the present moment. All these things are exercising really mental processes that train the brain. So in Little Blueprint, what we're doing is empowering children by guiding them to exercise the mind to actually build the circuits of the brain of extremely important executive functions that form an internal compass that can guide them not only now as they're children, but into adolescence and then into adulthood. With the Little Blueprint approach, you give a child the empowerment to actually face some of life's most profound issues with strength, courage, and even deeper compassion and learning.